And the
you
thing is,
know?
we're not all grown up, are we? We may be older, but we're not necessarily grown up. And I really love this idea of this inner child workshop that you were running around the release of Junebug. I mean, why is it so important for us as adults to kind of connect to the child within, and why do we struggle to do so?
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. I did a movie this summer called Junebug that was a romantic comedy on the surface, but really underneath it, it had a lot of themes of reconnecting to the parts of ourselves that are left behind or not integrated. And it touched a lot of people because it's not something that's like super mainstream. And I ran a workshop with some friends of mine and teachers afterwards because I wanted people to be able to have an immersive experience from it. Like, hey, here's the work demonstrated in a piece of art, and here are some techniques and being held in a container where you can come and do that work that if you're inspired by it. And we had like 30 people in this container who had massive, breakthroughs. And it was
Wow.
really, really cool to see and helped me do this work that I'm doing of bridging these two worlds. Helped me go, oh yeah, okay, this makes sense. I was feeling that it makes sense, but I've now seen it in action making sense. And the reason that that type of work, whatever you want to call it, you can also call it shadow work, but basically it's about the unseen or unclaimed parts of the self that we've left behind, or soul retrieval work that we've left behind on the journey because there was something that happened that we didn't have the skills to fully process and move through. So you can almost think of it like you left. Okay, like you left California driving across the country, and you started off with like all these suitcases on the top of your car, and you forgot that, like, you didn't notice that one fell off in Arizona, and then another one fell off in Texas, and then another one fell off in Alabama, and you suddenly wake up and you're like, wait a second, I don't have everything I need. Or every time I go to do this one thing, this old pattern is, let's use the actual, this old pattern repeats. Why is that happening? So you have to turn around and go back and pick up those suitcases and go, oh, okay. Because they're all holding pieces of gold,
Yeah.
really important parts of ourselves, but we haven't wanted to go back and look at them because they're surrounded by usually pain, and it was pain that we couldn't process at the time, and we had to basically put it aside until this moment when we can go back and we have the skills to be able to process that pain now. But that's why most people need a therapist or somebody to work with as they're doing this, because there's a reason they couldn't process that pain, because it's a lot and you have to feel it in the here and now, and it doesn't feel good.
I love that. You've got a really great way, Autumn, I think, of kind of creating images from storytelling of that. Because immediately I'm just thinking of Beverly Hillbillies and just kind of all that stuff going off the back. It's brilliant. But that'll stay with me. I really like that because it is
I love
essentially,
it.
yeah, it's that kind of chipping away of self, isn't it, over time without us realizing it. Yeah, I think that's really important.